Okay, so sciatica, and kind of highlighting the need to understand a problem properly or thoroughly before we propose solutions. So when we talk about sciatica, most people's mind will probably go to like a discogenic based sciatica, where you have a disc bulge or herniation, leaks out the back of the disc, puts pressure on the nerve root, puts pressure on the nerve, obviously irritates the nerve, gives us the pain down the leg. But we can have another very common type of sciatica, which is called a stenotic based sciatica, which is where we have a narrowing of the nerve canal in the actual vertebra themselves that sits behind the nerve. Why is this important? It's important because in both cases we have someone with sciatica, so they could present with pain down one of their legs, for example. However, they're going to behave in opposite ways to each other. So for example, for a discogenic based sciatica, we might propose something like passive extension with like a disc recovery position, whereby the pressure in that position of slight extension will pull that disc bulge, that herniation, back into the disc, take some pressure off of the nerve. However, for the person with stenotic based sciatica, that's going to make them worse because it's closing up that gap where that stenosis is even more and putting more pressure on the nerve. So for that person, you might find positions of flexion will actually give them rest pain. We need to find more things, more tools to do with decompression and using flexion to kind of alleviate than we do with extension because it makes them worse. So again, it all comes back to a famous saying by Professor Stuart McGill. What will be, medicine for one person with back pain will be absolute poison for the next. That's why you have to understand mechanically exactly what's happening with that person. So rather than just having sciatica, what is the cause of the sciatica, and that from there will then dictate what's going to work for that person and or make them worse. So again, we always need clarity, we need a thorough investigation, and that lets us then select the appropriate tools to solve that particular problem.